So the next procedure is a report procedure. So this is one of the important procedure to create the reports, like how we are going to use the proc print. Similarly, also we can use a proc report also. But the major difference between these two procedures is in proc print and proc report, each and every field how you want to display in the final report. Like each and every individual column you're defined, you will be defined like what is the length, what is the format, how you can see that column name, and each and everything, every column that you have to define manually. If you don't define it by default, you click whatever we have in the table level. So, and you can also calculate a new columns by using this particular in the procedure. So this is only the procedure majorly used to create the new column, calculate a column. In one of the that is only the procedure. Like in all other procedures, we use the options or set data sets option like procedure options, different options we use it and create that output. But here, how you want to calculate? If you want to do any multiplication of the two columns, you can calculate it. If you want to do any subtraction, you want to do any other calculation that you want to do, you can just use this particular proc report procedure. So this is a very powerful procedure when you go to this in a couple of different kind of reports. So major Y means it's individually how you want to format, how you want to see the data. Like that, that's the purpose. Majorly we use the proc report. Okay, so let's see this. So the first thing is the example is selecting the variables in a report. Nothing but what variable you want to see in the report. Let's take some sample data. Okay, let me use, okay, then I'll change the connection details. Hello, are you able to hear me now? Yep. So let's look at now. So let's take this is the data. So I just created the data set. See here, we have 36 observation, but it's not by here. You can see there is an option that we use double tail symbol. The double tail symbol will hold the data at the end of the line. See, this is one record, two record, third record, fourth record. So in 4 records in one single line we have displayed, but by using the double sum we are creating individual rows for each and everything. So let's see how much data that we have here. See, so this is how the data has been created, even though we have only just 9 records, but here now so let's use it. Okay, so then do you remember this doc format? Yeah, so the proc format is majorly used to format that how you want to see the data in output file. So let's see how we are defining. So this is the format name, sector format. So if it's SC, southeast, northeast, northwest, southwest, and manager format. If it's one major, two, like these are the different formats, and department format, NP1 and paper. So these are the different formats that we're creating now. Okay, once you create the format, if you apply this format, the data will be uploaded, like it's updated with those values. So now our aim is to list the report with the selected columns. What is the subject? Selecting the variables for a report. So, which variables you want to see in the final report? See, data. Okay, see, this is wrong. It's not created. It's created in the work library. You have to create the report in work library. See, now we can see this. Previously, it was not created those formats because the library was not assigned. See, so proclib is not assigned. Means library is not assigned. If you run it, all the 36 observation will be displayed in the output file in a separate report, a separate window. Okay. Especially when you use a proc report, it will be open separate window. But if you don't want a separate window, there is an option called NoWD. So it won't display the separate window. So it will display the normal output file. Okay. Now, so this is a format simply. Now, if you use the column statement, you have to use it. So what columns you want to display? That sector, manager. See, only those two columns will be displayed. So these called as selected columns which will be displayed. We use specify a column statement. Now column statement we have defined these things. Now if you want to apply the format directly, you can apply the format to these variables like format. So sector. What is the format? Sector format. So this is a sector format. Take this dot. Next one is manager. Yeah, if you run it, you can see the data now, how the values will be seen. All the values will be the format applied and show those values. This is how the report look like. Now there are different options that we have. This is one way that you can apply the format. But you can see there is one more statement. It's called where. You can also where statement. So this break and everything is different. Because I will go through that in coming class next time. But now just simply displaying the columns here. So if you want, you can apply the specific condition also at the where level. So directly you can use a where statement here. So only that particular southeast sector data will be shown here. You can apply that. So this is how individual columns that you can going to display that. Yeah, next we'll go to the next topic examples. Order the rows in a report. Now order in the data. So within the report, how you want to order the data. So to order the data, you have to define each and every variable. Use the define statement. How you have to display? This is a sector. If we display, use order. There is a var order. This variable I want to see in order. Then you have to use this is a format, right? Yeah, use a format equal to run. Similarly, another define statement, each and every variable, how you want to display that. See, now let's remove this where condition. See, all the values have been repeated, right? Those values should not shown here. Let's add another variable. So there is a department also. If you add the department, or let's see, manager is order and order equal to format. Based on the format, it's showing that when you specify format, it means after applying the format, the data will be ordered in ascending or descending order. And the next one is order equal to internal. Internal means how the data is there within the data set. As per that one, it's displayed as easily, not changing in uppercase like ascending or descending order. So the next one is this is a defined statement here, the sales. So this analysis, when you say analysis means it take by default sum of the values. So let's use this one. Now I will get the idea of that. See, sales, this north sector, the manager has 90 sales. So it's a sum of the all this particular variable manager sales. Okay. Yeah, it's some of the total. If you have multiple values, it will take total, but here it's not taking multiple, like it's taking individually. So now these are the just simple displaying the values. So if you say the sum, it will just take the sum of the values. So instead of the section, you can use a department wise, then you'll get the clear idea there. So it's not applied, okay? Sorry. See, we end it like all the values. So there is another variable called break statement. So what exactly this break statement will tell you that, like within the values, so within the column name, in suppose let's take this, like let's say department. Each department wise, I want to see the totals, or each sector wise, each manager wise, I want to see the totals, individual totals for the particular like in which sector wise. So like subcategory subtotals of each individual values wise. To get that, so you have to use a break statement. So you have to use a break after. When you say after means after the report, after the manager.
Means after the manager, I want to see the data. What you want to see? Single O line, summarize and skip. So when you specify it, so break. So each and every manager wise. So this is a manager. Each manager wise, you will get the sales. Now I want to. I'm using the break statement. Break after manager. Manager means after each variable value of the manager, I want to see the totals, like what summarize. See, see total, but I don't see it because its report is not looks good. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to add some other thing. O line. Then you can see the difference. See, if you specify the DOL double line, you'll see then the report double line. So after each manager, you will get the total and double line. And when you specify the skip, you will see the some extra space each and every each manager wise separately. See, extra space. So like this each and every option, if you like a report level, you can, if you can remember it, then you can easily, the report looks like good. Yeah. Any questions till now? So like these kind of reports, if you want to build it, then it's easy for it's easy like you can use a proc report, because in other reports and by using the other procedure, you can't do this type of report format report kind of thing. Yeah, we'll see that couple of other things also. Okay, there's one more statement called compute statement. So this is a majorly useful to create a new variables or new columns, and you can display some value. So what you have to see, compute after the break statement. That means after the whole report, I want to compute this one. What you want to see, line. When you specify the line means at the bottom, this I want to see this line, and sales dot sum. When you did write sales dot sum means sum of the sales. Whatever the values are there, the sales amount, this is sales variable, you'll get the total. Okay, let's see how we can get the values at shown the output. See, compute after means after the report, I want to see the compute. What you want to see is the sum of the sales amount. I want to display like this. See, the total sales amount for these stores are like this much. Means after all the sales, like each and every manager, this is a grand total for all the sales information of this particular all the sectors. So because by automatically it's calculating and we are formatting, it means this is sum of the sales. So this is a major use, like you see that in the report level. One minute, I'll just Okay, so this is how each and every column you can able to see what kind how we want to see the report and output. Like how you can just see the report in a final report like the client wants or the user wants or business wants. Accordingly, you can create all the things. You can see a few more options here. Using alias to obtain multiple statuses for the same variable. So it means with the same status, like because sales is there, right? Instead of you can see multiple statuses for the same variable. See, manager, department, sales. But I want to see the sales minimum and sales maximum. We are creating the two other variables. Where exactly you are showing at the bottom. So because you are because I already defined it. So maximum. So you can see the maximum statistics. Like so here we want to see the total sales, but I want to see the maximum sales and minimum sales in the here also. What I'm going to create is I'm creating one more variable called sales equal to sales max sales equal to sales minimum. There are two variables I created. Those two variables I will define here. How you are going to define sales? Analysis max. So not I'm creating a variable like this. Dollar format. Similarly, sales minimum. It means for the same sales variable, you are creating multiple variables. So that's what we are going to do that. If you don't want to see, okay, if you run it now, the file you can see the sales amount, minimum and maximum, but it won't see any differences because it's not a group variable. That means if you can drop these variable, it will be good. I'm going to draw means I'm not going to print it, the final report. But does that variable I will use here to display the okay, yeah. So maybe that's the reason you can see both files same. Now this variable, whatever the variable that we have, that I'm using here. So sales dot minimum. So the sales minimum and sales maximum, like these are solves. And similarly, I'm going to use another variable called you can see. Out of all the things, these are 30 minimum sales is 30, maximum sales are 600. The grand total is 6,300. So those variables I'm dropping. So this is how you can calculate all the values. Now, okay. So these things I'm just going to explain now. The next one is a line statement. So this line statement is majorly used to display how each and every line. So if you specify the blank, means one blank line will be spread in the output file. After the report, one blank line, empty line. And the next one is second line. So when you specify at the rate 7 means from the 7th position onwards. When you specify at the rate 7 means from 7th position in the line. What do you want to see? I want to see this particular character and need to be repeated 53 times. When you specify star means this particular character, it will be repeated 53 times from 7th position. Let's see this how it will be shown. Okay, now I'm running this. See, from 7th position onward it started 53 lines. Now you can change the position. Instead of 17, if you write it 53, 15, so it will move come forward, right? Let's see the difference. See, it's moved. So depending upon how you want to see that, so the report will be, you can just see the how you want it, like this. So this is at the line after. So after the amount, then I'm going to write the same thing. It means it will display at the bottom. After this amount, so it will be displayed at the bottom. Okay. So what is the mistake here? It means I have written this statement after the end compute. So because the line statement should be written within the compute and end compute. See, this is how you want it. Now here you can see there is a very good formatting that they have shown here. So if you want, you can write like this also. So I just started here and ending like this. But how you want it, so you have to write accordingly that one. Any questions here? Okay. Now every time whatever the manager department says like this, I want to see different name instead of manager, instead of department, something I want to see that. Whatever thing you wanted, just you can write within the code. Suppose instead of sales here, I'm going to write as a in the codes sum of sales. Just writing. Oh, that same will be appeared here. See? So it automatically moves to the next line because the length of this particular variable is 8, some around 5 or 6 characters. If it's more than that, then automatically display that. So if you want to increase the length also, you can do that. To increase the length of the variable, you have to use a w width statement. How much width you wanted? So you want to say that 12, you can increase the width. See, the values has been increased, the width has been increased, automatically it expanded. It means at the variable level on the final output, you can increase the width, you can decrease the width, how you want to see each and every variable appear. Here you can see it's appeared. Like some of this, whatever the thing that you have written, as it will display that. Okay. Suppose I want to, because this particular name is like only 10 characters, here it's 7 characters. If you specify, I'm expecting. But if this is more than that, so I want to see divided this particular name into 2 lines. Means you want to divide this description in 2 lines or 3 lines, right? So to divide that lines, to divide the name into multiple lines, you have to put the separator, and that separator can you have to use in a skip equal to. So you have to use a split option. If you write the split option, see the name of this. Now if I put the star here, it will be divided to 3 lines, irrespective of the length. See, sum of the sales. So it means how many how you want to display, how you want to split this particular name into number of lines. You have to use that particular separator, whatever the separator that you are using, that you have to use here. So if you are using the different and you are using different, it won't display. Suppose if you are using instead of star, use @ symbol, but you have not defined so it won't take anything. Since the particular character will not found it, so it's as it displayed it. So this is how that can be used as split statement. Let's see a couple of other examples. So multiple observations to one row. So simply displaying like this is how just now we saw that, right? So break statement. Same big statement. So skip to suppress. Computer offers sales. We're calculating the sales. So split statement we saw that, skip we saw that, break, compute and computer. So here we're calculating another variable called perish. So this is not the variable from the data set, but we are calculating how you're calculating some of these two variables. So some of the sales like C3 and C4, these are the two variables you are calculating the sum. And that variable you are calculating. So once you calculate the variable, you have to use as a computer here. So that define the variable and computer. But because this particular column you don't see here, it's there. You have to define that particular statement in the column statement also. So when you do that, so you can see this is a report how you can separate the total for between meat and dairy. 3 and 4, these are 3 and 4 variables, right? C3. So the underscore C3 underscore 0 means default variables. You are not going to take default variable you are taking. Like each department, how you are calculating each department wise sales you are calculating. So see, here we have used a comma. When you use a comma like this, it means we are creating each department wise sales. And we have used across a variable. So when you say across, it means that report will be in the same column. You can see multiple values in department, meat and dairy produce. If you have more than other two variables are there, you will take it. If you have instead of meat and dairy and produce and other values already, it will take another value, 3 columns. It means across, and we're changing from rows to columns, like columns to rows. It's in the transposing, that means crossing the variable. So with this reason, the proc report is very powerful compared to on other browsers. And the next one is the report level format. So the line size, page size. So because each and every report it has some fixed default line size and page size is there. So to look at this line size and page size option, you have to run by what are the default values that you have in the particular procedure, the system level. When you run this particular procedure, what are the default options? What are the default values for the line size and page size? Just run it and go to the log. See, the default line size is 102. The line size of the SAS log and procedure output by default. Either you can decrease those value, you can increase that value. When you decrease, that means the report will be displayed within that particular number of lines in a page. Similarly, page size. Each page, how many lines that you want to see that. So there are only number of lines in each page. You will see only 56 lines. So those values that you can overwrite it by using these particular tool options. So what is a line size line size means how many number of characters in a line. When you say page size means in each page how many number of lines. Okay. So because this particular are useful some at report level, like depending upon your Excel sheet or the report output level, it will be limiting this output in a particular characters. See, because it's a number of columns you're displaying more. So then what happen automatically you're dividing the report into two sections. So sector manager, sum of the sales, minimum sales, maximum sales. Then sum of the sales, see sector manager, range of sales, mean sales, standard deviation sales. So because instead of creating all in a one particular line, because it's due to the line size, like due to the line size, you are dividing the second report. How you are dividing? So sector manager and sales you are calculating. So IT group, so manager and group wise and sales we are formatting. So sector manager and all these things I want to do the statistics. So if you specify I divided the data. So restoring and reusing the reports. So rarely we used it. So condensing a report into multiple panels. In each particular report, how many you want it in a particular page, how many panels, like how many different sections, subparts. See, line size, page size, panels 96, page 6. So see, department sales manager, department sales. So writing a customer summary in each page. So means if multiple going like if you go to multiple go to the example, you can see the multiple options like more complexity in there. So before going to the complexity, you have to learn those basic things first. Then automatically these things will be understanding. But this much complexity will not go there in real time. So basic level, whatever we discuss, that will go major enough. But there are a couple of options like let's say example. So when you are running the report here, you are displaying all these information. I don't want to see that. So then you can use a no date and no time, no header, no date. See, when you specify no date, it means this option is not there. It means then you can see that date option, anything like no alias, no center. It will suggest you some names. No alias, no center, no compare columns, no compare, no exit. No header is there, but there is no date. So it means then if you don't have the date, then just use the options. Then you can go to the just now we ran the right control F, no date. The system option is there. Just I'm looking for those. Okay. Okay, now details option is there, but here I think see the date has been dropped. So it means it's options level also you can use it, but it's a global option. This node it is a global option. So if you specify no header, no HEAD is at the report level option. If you run it this one, even you don't see this any header kind of thing. whatever you have header, right? See, report level header you're dropping. So these are the different options that we have at the report level. You can go to that individually, then you'll get some idea on that. So all these options you can see at the starting report level. See here. So in the compute and computer define statement. So what are the different options? Right here they mention options. So what are the different options that you have? So go to the proc report. And what are the different options that you have? See all these options that you can use in the header level. Data out. So miss line size, page size missing it. So line whenever you click it, you'll see this is the definition of one line. Go there to give you the more options, whatever the available options that you can have, you can use it. Maximum you can use 256, minimum is 66. 64 is the minimum line size. You cannot go beyond that, or you cannot go beyond 256 also. Between those two values, you have to specify line size. Okay, so and there is one more thing here is like right. So this is at the report level because always the numerical is right side, the character is left side. So you can justify like how you want to see that values. Center. If you specify center, the manager will comes in the center. See, manager is between center. Previously we had left side, now it comes into center. See, center. So or if you want to say right, if you specify the right, okay, I'm just specifying the left. The amount values comes into the left side. Now you can see that. See, all the values in the left side. So like you can justify it like how you want to see that. It's up to the left side or right side, center. So you can justify here. Center and right. If you specify right, you can see by default the numerical is right, but if you want to see the character value, then you can see the right side. Like all the things, like it's in no center. So these are the default values that you can go each and everything. So style, content, list. So these are different options, but these are all are available options, but you don't need to learn all the things. It's very complicated. Okay. So what are things that we explained? So just go through those and you can try practice. If those are the options are enough at the report level. If you need more, go to the help and you can see more on that. In this particular document, you already have that particular proc report, but we do have very less options, very less pages. So I've just gone through more detail on that because it's very powerful compared to all other. So you can see the definitions here, proc report. What is order? Just saw that across analysis, define statement definition, all the things that you can see here. Yeah, the next procedure is proc tablet. So this particular is not mandatory to learn it. It's but you just need to know that like better to know what exactly the high level how you can use it. So the proc it tabulate. It means the report is in a tabular format. Whenever you say tabular means rows, columns, and pages. Like each and every how you want to see that. Okay. So the syntax for is proc tablet data as data set. What are the different options that we have? You can specify the class variable means classification. What are the different classification? What like subgroups variable, and which variable is analysis variable. And the table construction, whenever you say construction, means each page level, row and column. We'll see that examples. So whenever you say specifying the column, just simply whenever you see proc report variable name, when you specify proc tablet data, a class in country wise, I want to see the table. Just set a country, Australia, number of observation, Canada number of observation, total. When you specify all, then only you can see country and all. So yeah, just by default, it's calculating the frequency, the number of observation in the dataset level. That is what the row level. So now we can see the country job code wise, two different country wise and job code. Each country job code wise, I want to see the calculation of job code and counting. See, country and job code wise, this job code, this many number of observations, number of observation, number of, but here we have not specified all. So since we have not specified all, you don't see any total variable, separate variable. All means totals, row level and column level totals. So here we have specified all. See, when you specified all, you can see the totals per row level and the total per column level. So additionally, another variable will be created, grand total in the simply. So specifying the analysis variable. So whenever you specify the analysis separately, so I want to see the country wise country job code wise salary. I want to see the total salary. You can see country, Australia, USA, and job code wise sum of the sales. So whenever you say by default, it will because if it's a character variable, it will calculate the frequency. If it's an analysis variable, some numerical values, it will calculate the what by default sum of the sales or some of the amount, some of the whatever we have it. If it's an analysis variable, so by default it's calculate the sum. So you can change the default statistics sum to the different value. Okay, so here the table job code country into salary, country cross asterisk salary. It means country wise salary job code, country wise salary you are calculating. So the asterisk after in the table statement is used for the next information. The default status is sum. If there are any analysis variable in the table statement. So you can change this analysis variable what you want it. See here. So these are the basic statistical analysis variables. You can use it, but if you want other, you can. We do have more also, but yeah. So if you want now, let's see here. Job code all. When you say all means you know that. Then a country, I want salary and mean. All salary mean. It means job code wise, I want to see all, and country and salary wise. Each country wise is salary. What is mean of the salary for each country wise? This is a mean, and all means after some of all the countries and row level mean. So this is how we have to use it. So this particular procedure is initially it's confusing, but yeah, just need to know high level, but nobody is using majorly. So we do have some other proc SQL procedures. All these calculations will be easily calculated. So this is some more complex coding here. So just need to know high level. Yeah. So these are the basic things that you need to know about the proc tablet. Yeah. So the next procedure that we have is like a univariate. There is another specific procedure called univariate. So this tablet we saw that, and template we don't need it because it's nobody is using it. And the transpose the time plot we don't use it, and trans stuff was not used. The next procedure is univariate. So the univariate is majorly used for the statistical purpose. So when you say statistical means all the different different test statistics that to calculate purpose we used it. To calculate the plot, class, frequency, histogram graph. Majorly this particular procedure is to create the histogram graphs. So when you say histogram means you need to know that, right? What is a histogram? So this is how you want to say this kind of graphs if you want to build it. histogram graphs, then you can use a prog univariate. But other than this univariate procedure, you can also use a prog, like different graphical procedures are there. By using those different graphical procedures, we'll explain you that. Yeah, I'll take those SAS graphs in the next class. So we do have that like SAS graphs, couple of SAS graphs. I'll take this pie chart, bar chart, those kind of things. But especially, yeah, but so I'm not going to cover right now. So this particular univariate, yeah, it's you need to know that graph. So I'll take the next class. So this particular univariate is majorly used to display like all the basic statistics that you want to see that. Just go to the high level. I'm not going in detail. Okay, so majorly this particular procedure is very useful to see all the basic statistical measures, like all kind of statistics. So this is the main formula. Definitions. I want to go to the examples directly. I'm just giving the high level in like the copy. This is my data set. So I'm calculating the where, which variable you want to calculate. Just run it. Let's see what kind of information that you see in the output. Let's go to the analysis here. So univariate. Each variable wise. First movements. Maybe you heard about the movements. Like whenever you say movement means all the basic statistics and how many number of observation, what is the mean, what is the standard deviation, what is the skewness, uncorrected sum of squares, coefficient of variation, sum of the weight, sum of the observation, variance, kurtosis, all these different statistics that you want to know, that just use this univariate procedure. Because in proc means by default you will see only basic statistics like n, mean, median, range, and standard deviation. Those are only basic statistics measures you got it. But in here, more statistic measures you'll get it. So each and every definitions you can see in the help or online. You can go to the Google, then you will get it. So business statistic measures, basic like mean, median, mode, standard deviation, variance, range, interquartile range. So it's all the things that you want to know that particular variable wise. Not like because these will be calculated only one variable with the data set level. So you want to see all those information, just use this proc univariate. So you got basic T statistics, student T, sign, rank, quantile percentage, 100% is 165 maximum, 90 is like 95% is this estimate is 5. So extreme observation quantiles, extreme observation see lowest and highest. And this is calculated by each variable level, not like a whole data set or multiple variable. Each individual variable. If it's a numerical variable, then only you'll get all the statistics. But the character, you cannot do that. Okay. So if you specify the two variables here, you'll see the two variables. If you specify one, you'll get only one. Okay, so this is a high level you need to know about the proc univariate, but if we cannot, because we cannot go much beyond, it's very confusing for you also. So because it's a very big procedure, all the different statistics you can see, methods, modes. So you don't need that much, because when you specify mode means like a specific output you want to see, that specify those. That's it in there. Okay. Yeah. So this is about the procedures. So tomorrow, what I'm going to take some graphical analysis tomorrow. Tomorrow you have to come in. Okay. We'll take the class tomorrow also, and we'll go to the graphs. And next 30, almost 30 to 40 minutes, we'll take the graphs and we'll go to the next sequel. Once you go to the sequel, then we can see the next topic. Same time. You want the time inside? Yeah, same time and same. So you'll get the link and we'll get it. Yeah. See you. So we'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you. Bye bye.